Hello and welcome to Doing Business in Rwanda with me, Arnold Segawa. This is a special edition going on about Transform Africa 2017. Now it has been a biannual series here in Kigali, Rwanda, but right now many of the leaders are asking why isn't this an annual event? And moving around other cities across sub-Saharan Africa, lots of conversations around smart cities. Those are the two words on each and everyone's lips, not forgetting a talk of a united Africa when it comes to ICTs. I'm Arnold Segawa. This is Doing Business in Rwanda. Innovators and business leaders from all corners of the world convened in Kigali to discuss moving forward with the Smart Cities Initiative. Among these are 17 member states of the Smart Africa Alliance with a common goal to harness digital transformation, hastening socio-economic development and expedite solutions to Africa's challenges.
Well, Smart Africa is about technology. Usually when we talk about technology, it's imported technology here. But what I'm bringing right now to Smart Africa is indigenous technology, made in Africa technology. And exactly, I'm bringing a revolutionary kiosk that doesn't exist anywhere else, beautifully built. My company is called Tulip. We are located in Guinea. We manufacture interactive green kiosk, exactly, for schools, for government, and for any other entity that might need to run a computer of grids with the solar panel.
We're at Transform Africa because water transforms people's lives, transforms countries. Taking drinking water to people's homes has got great health benefits and lifestyle. But also water drives economic development. Every industry needs water and they need a safe, reliable water supply so it can really transform a country's economy.
Here in Rwanda, basically Inmarsat is acting as a digital enabler for applications on the Internet of Things. So much more than just being about a satellite company. What we've done is we've built a network based on a LoRaWAN technology, which enables us to put sensors into various applications so that we can monitor different solutions and provide outcomes for customers. So, for example, we have smart agriculture solutions that should be able to help us drive productivity in agriculture in the field. We have solutions that can track buses and vehicles around Kigali itself, and at the same time monitor pollution for environmental monitoring solutions. And so really for us this is about how we can set this network up and then encourage third parties from Rwanda itself to come and build applications based on our network.
We spent a lot of time in Kigali trying to see what would be the different types of applications that we could bring. We basically come from Singapore and we've got our roots back in India. So we have got a lot of technology that the company has developed over 23 years, and we were looking at what could we bring to Africa that would fit in with the smart cities. And one of the things that when we spoke to the stakeholders here was that the motorcycle industry here, which runs the motor taxi business, was completely unregulated. So we said, why don't we look at that? Why don't we look at bringing in something that would basically provide visibility into this motorcycle market? And that's why we are back here today with Yego Moto, which is a solution tailor-made for the motorcycle taxi industry in Rwanda.
We are proud of working with the Rwanda government, the ITU, and also the local ISP called the BSC. So what we do is that we are creating a network which is national, and it's a national Wi-Fi network working with a fiber backhaul. And we are connecting schools, governmental offices, libraries, police stations, so it's basically an e-governance platform. What I want to come to with this comment is that basically this is the same platform you want to use if you want to make connectivity for small and medium-sized businesses in Rwanda as well. So basically we are agnostic, but right now we are working very much with UN and governments, but we also definitely want to spread out and hit a little bit more on the private sector, like could be oil and gas, small and medium-sized businesses, excavation, mining, farming, anything.
Africa's population is set to increase by more than 450 million people by 2035. Access to clean water is still a challenge on the African continent. where, according to the United Nations, a quarter of the population spends more than half an hour per trip to collect water. This is with an exception to Egypt, Seychelles, Mauritius, and Niger.
Well, we're taking water from the river to people's taps. So we're taking that all of the way through from pumping stations at the river intake, treating very cloudy, difficult water. You have phenomenal rains here and the water gets churned up. So we treat that water to drinking standard and then we pump it through a network of pipes and reservoirs directly into people's homes. Our plant first is fully automatic. So we have one operator, everything is linked to a SCADA system. So in real time, the operator sitting in the control room can see every aspect of the plant's operation. But they can also see how the network is operating because the network is fully connected as well. So if there's an unexpected high water use in one area, then there's a chance that the infrastructure is broken and that there's a leak, and we can then target our teams to go there and repair that leak before we waste valuable resources.
Of the 800 million people in sub-Saharan Africa, 620 million, that is 75% of the population, lives in rural areas. Internet penetration on the continent is as low as 27.7%, limiting smart transportation, agricultural development, energy, and mostly smart education. Despite the challenges, Africa is eyeing leveraging the growing population of innovative youth and technology so as to earn a seat in the fourth industrial revolution.
Gone are the days where satellite and terrestrial communications were competitors and threats to each other. We're here in Kigali with a mobile network operator and we're partnering to be able to deliver these applications. And what we can really do there to really help drive more connectivity further in Rwanda is we can provide the access to the internet in areas where there are no terrestrial communications links. And so a good example of that is the Smart Bus initiative you have here in Kigali, where the bus actually travels around with these internet stations on board, so it goes to villages outside of the urban centre and gives people access to the internet. And what we can do is we can put a satellite terminal, and what we have done, put a satellite terminal on the bus, so when it travels outside of terrestrial communications, you can use a satellite link to be able to access the internet.
According to McKinsey & Company, Africa's consumer-facing industries are expected to grow by $400 billion. This is by 2020. The binging middle class has forced industrial sectors on the continent to grow. The manufacturer's share of GDP in sub-Saharan Africa has held steady between 10 to 14% in recent years. Nigeria's share stood at just 9%, Kenya at 12%, and Zambia at 8%. Despite lacking the skill sets and substantial financing, young Africans are designing solutions for future Africa.
We need Africans to get into the digital world, and this is the time. We have now our own indigenous technology, African-made technology, and we need a government now to support us, not financially because there are still NGOs financing it, but we need the support because when they support us, NGOs, the World Bank and other organizations will look at us, will invest into us and into our technology, and within 5 to 10 years, we will be having an entire generation of African welding, soldering, making African technology. For example, your microphone, for example, this camera here, we can reverse engineer things, we can build it in Africa. We have enough knowledge. We can transfer whatever we learn outside here in Africa to build our own African-made technology.
Blue Town is focusing on rural areas, and by the fact there's, first of all, it could be expensive. It could be also a challenge with power, and it could also just in general be a challenge of the data you want to convey is too heavy. So we have created a local content server that is able to be added to the base station or to the actual small CPE stations, and that enables actually, it could be a big hospital, it could be a big business, that enables them to have what you call a local content, a file server, that is something you can access even though the internet is down.
Innovators are using disruptors in the ICT space to leapfrog service delivery.
This device has its own GPS which will be attributed to the driver, which allows us to determine the speed of the vehicle and also the manner in which the vehicle is being driven. So if a person is driving rashly or braking suddenly, we get all that information. This information is available back in real time for us to even alert the authorities if required. God forbid there's an accident, we would know that an accident has taken place and also the location of the accident. So these are basically the first reasons why we came in. Second thing is that Rwanda wants to go cashless by year 2020. Today the market is completely manual, there's no automation. When you stop a moto, you tell him where to go, you have to haggle with him, negotiate with him. If you change your mind en route, you have to stop him, pay him for the first journey, then negotiate with him and see if he's willing to take you to the second journey and pay him for the second destination as well. With our solution right now, it takes care of all of this because you have a meter, and based upon the meter, so you start a trip and it locates where you are. It starts to charge you based upon the distance traveled as well as the time traveled. When you end the trip, it will automatically compute what is the total amount and it will show you how much you need to pay.
In the design of this kiosk, we focus on security first. It is beautifully built, 2mm thick steel. At the same time, we have vandal-proof touchscreen. At the same time, we built in lithium source of energy, internal source of energy, so it can run on solar panel. It can run also on regular electric grids. These kiosks can be placed in villages. These kiosks can be placed in remote government department, for example. You can unplug it, it will still work for a few days without electricity. At the same time, we run a kiosk management software, and remotely we can manage all the functions of the softwares. So this is why this kiosk is built for. It is built for remote area. It is built for wherever the electric grid is an issue.
Countless opportunities, yet again, in the land of 1,000 hills, this time in the ICT front. Now, Rwanda, yet again, reminding everyone that when it comes to the Smart Africa initiative, many of the frameworks that were actually outlined at the beginning, they have achieved over and above. Now moving on to the Smart City initiatives. This was a special for Transform Africa. So many deliberations. Remember, if you have any feedback, you can always send us an email. That is dbir@abn360.com. Or we're in the smart age. You can just tweet us. That's DBI Rwanda. I'm Arnold Segoa from the entire Doing Business in Rwanda team. Thanks for watching.